Then there is also the Hangout, where we are today. Another brand as well, another business that is created, the visionary behind this brand. Those of you who are you know, Christmas time, when you are done eating 7 colors, you go one man show. So this is a gentleman who has created brands, who's been consistent. We know the brands, we love the brands, and would love to hear the story of how he's built those brands. Are you ready? Ready? Are you ready? Can we bring him? Is he? Ladies and gentlemen, he's coming up. Let's get up on our feet. Let's put our hands together for the round around DJ Shimza. Show some love for DJ Shimza. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Yeah. You know, they just said to me, can we host this thing at your venue? And I said yes. The next thing I must talk, thank you guys for pulling through. I hope you like the venue. Hope we can have more of these sessions here, because this is not a club. You know, this is not a club, it's not a pub. It's a restaurant, a place where we can all chill, come through during the week, have your meetings, good food, great vibes, and then when you come on a weekend, you'll see it's a totally different space where you come and wind down with all your friends, bring your business partners. If you want to massage someone to give you business, bring them here. We've got good food, drinks, and I think a great selection of staff members that love what they're doing, and they'll take care of you. Okay, I just saw my place, so yeah. I don't know what I can talk about, man. I'm just going to share my story, and hopefully you guys will take one or two from what I've experienced through what I've been doing, I'm from Leboeng Extension 5, which is on the other side of Tembisa. And I grew up like any other ordinary boy from Tembisa, I went to Etlin Primary School in Kempton Park, and then went to Sapir van Reineveld High School. I used to take a train to high school, and I started my DJing career when, I think it was the first week of my high school career, I was taking different routes to the train station, because the nearest train station was Lemindlela, yeah. So I used to take different routes to see which one I'd be comfortable with, and then one day I went through Swazi Inn, and I met Komza, who's now late, where I just stood outside his house, and just listened to what was going on in the garage when they were mixing, and after maybe I think an hour or two of me standing there, they were like, Joe, we've been seeing you, you've been there for like an hour or so, come through and just chill inside, So I got there and like I was happy, when a kid walks into a candy store or like a game place, they get so excited they want to run around. That's how I felt when I went in there and I saw them with the turntables there and the vinyls, and like they were like dope DJs, and I really understood how that was different from the CDs that I was listening to at home, So from that day on, man, I was so passionate about that. It actually took me away from being that boy who check on weekends, or maybe play soccer with the other kids, So every day I used to go there, Habokomza, and practice, because I understood. Okay, well then I didn't understand. It was like some sort of a hobby. But to me, I understood the investment that I was making in terms of time to perfect my DJing skills, so that I could one day be a DJ Fresh or wherever, But the environment that I was in was very competitive, like Komza and his brothers were so competitive at that time, they would host like battles in between themselves, at home, and if we were going to go to a gig on the weekend and one of them like missed a mix, they would be on them the whole week, you know. So the competitiveness of how that space was really shaped me on how I could be a better DJ. You know, I knew that you could not. Can I swear, guys? Like Gaitswara, you know, like not like swear, but like yeah. I knew that if I were to fuck up on the weekend, I knew that like during the week I'd have it, you know, from the guys, you know. So it was up to me to make sure that I don't take it as, yeah, I'm still these guys' student, you know, during the week we're still practicing. But I would make sure that I up my game with them, you know, so that when I make a mistake, I even explain before they come at me, you know. So that helped build the strong character in my DJing, in the starting phase of my DJing career, you know. So now after like maybe 3-4 years, I went to the big league where I'd be introduced to like Bo DJ Fresh, Bo Vinita Vinci, you know, the McGee's at that time, you know, and I'd be this DJ that would want to outshine everyone, you know, because I was very young and I didn't want the people to sort of take me as a young DJ, like, this one is from Tembisa, what does he know, you know. We used to use like pop equipment, you know, and that for me, that struggle was training ground for me. You know, I didn't take advantage of it. I didn't say, I know, the turntables they're like the worst, you know. So when I get to an event and I find the right equipment, I wouldn't even shiver, because it's all pukung, you know, like what I'm using DJing at home and what I find at gigs are two different things, you know. But I understood that I couldn't make excuses when given opportunities to showcase myself, you know. So I would literally go in there, and if I didn't understand the equipment, I would ask, how does this work? But I knew the basics, you know. So you could throw me into any environment, and I was trained to swim in the deep end, you know, because I'm used to like shit equipment at home and people giving you crap when you play shit on shit equipment, you know. So I was like, these guys, they'll give you shit, but they're not giving you like the right equipment to equip you, so that when you go out there and find the right equipment, you can battle at that level, you know. But like I'm saying, I didn't make any excuses when I came up, you know. And when things started to shape up and I could see that people understood my type of DJing style, I then, in my brains, I don't know, man, I work in a different way. I won't say I saw what other people were doing, but in my own understanding and how growth worked, I was like, okay, cool, I've got the basics right. I know my equipment, I can DJ. I think I'm good at it. I'm going to collect as much music as possible, because if you're playing the right music, people will book you because you're introducing them to new music, you know. So that was the basics for me. But then something said to me, you need to take yourself to the next level and not just be another DJ Gokas, you know. And to me, it was like, okay, cool. A lot of these guys who are big DJs in the hood, all they do is just go to gigs, play, they're famous in their own circles and around Tembisa. What is it that I can offer that's going to take me to the next level, you know, to show people that I'm actually quite serious with what I'm doing, you know? And that's when I approached Caprivi, you know, and I was like, hey man, I see you guys, you're doing a lot for the DJs in Tembisa, but there's no consistency in anything that you guys are doing. You're doing your own nights, but people need someone to host them on a Friday, you know. So can I take on those Fridays? I don't want your money, you know. I just need a home for me to showcase my talent and grow my fan base, you know. So Capri was like, okay, whatever, cool. We'll give you like a small, there was a balcony. There's a balcony go Capri. And I took that balcony over, you know, started DJing, brought my own stuff. They would provide the sound. I didn't ask for money, you know, but I went to Caprivi because I understood that the people that went there were not like tavern goers, you know. It was like people who Mokasi that like things, you know, and people that when they have friends from outside of Tembisa that bring them into Kasi and take them to Caprivi, you know. So for me, that was the type of clientele that I wanted, that was going to either see me at Caprivi and take me to other places, or see me at Caprivi and I would gain a follower that has buying power to buy my music, to download my mixes. Actually, downloads were not there at that time. I used to sell my mixes on CD for $100, you know. So I would be there, sell my mixes to people with my cell phone number on it, and that's how I grew, you know. Those Fridays built who Shimza is today, you know. And when I saw those growing, I was like, okay, this venue is becoming a bit small, but let me do something here, sell it out, and sell that show as a sold-out show so that other people can buy into it, you know. I didn't understand this until I spoke to DJ Spoo years later, when I was like, he invited me to one of his shows, and then during the week, they were punting it like, yo, this show is almost sold out. It's almost sold out. It's almost sold out. And then on the Thursday, they were like, this show is sold out, you know? And then like a lot of people were like, how is this show sold out, you know? And then now they were punting that the show is sold out and they might be releasing more tickets, you know? And what they did was they shrunk supply by closing off tickets so that there could be demand, you know, because people think, oh, so everyone's going there, why am I not going there, you know? And then on the Friday, they drop more tickets and say, okay, cool, we've got 200 tickets that we are giving out, or like we're selling. And then those tickets would go quicker because people feel like they were going to miss out, you know? So I understood that, okay, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to sell out my show so that when I say I have the next one, people can really get into wanting to come to the show, you know. So I started my one-man show at Caprivi. I remember I was sitting on one of the Christmases and I was like, I'm at home. My mom went to her home, which is Komudimul, you know. And I was like, no, I'm going to stay at my home, which is here in Tembisa, you know. So I was chilling at home alone with no Christmas lunch, no diddle-daddle, nothing, you know. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do my own show that's going to be on Christmas Day for people that are like me. Maybe someone also KZN and their family is there and they just in Tembisa or around and they're looking for something else to do because restaurants are closed, there are no parties because everyone wants to be with their family. So I was like, I'm going to choose this day. I'm going to do a show. When people are done with their families, they'll come chill with me. And I'm going to call it a one-man show because I would have guests at Caprivi and people would complain that, you get here, you play for an hour and you leave, you know? So I was like, I'm going to create an experience, a Shimza experience for people on Christmas Day, and they'll come through. I'll be the only DJ and I'll get performances. Cool. I did the show. I think the tickets were like $50 or something, you know? On Christmas Day, 25th, how? 8, 9 p.m., we had to close down the doors because it's full. You know, people had nowhere else to go. And they'd come to Caprivi because they knew that, I think my first guest was Pro, and I had 2 guests, Pro and Bricks. You know, so they came, it was a great show, people had fun. I made sure that I gave them an experience that they were not used to. But the next year, I knew that, okay, I've got something that people want to buy into, which is the show, you know? And I was like, okay, let me grow this thing to a bigger venue and see how it goes. And I started marketing this thing as early as March that year, you know, to say, I had a show last year, here's the proof of product, it was full, here are the pictures, here are the videos. This year I'm having another one at a much more bigger venue, please come through, you know. And what I noticed around that time was the fact that people like buying into success. Show people your success or your willingness to be a successful person in business, and a lot of people will actually support you. Don't sit down and say, I need you for me to be successful. Show success and people will support you. You know, because I feel like us as black people, we are pro-black people, we are pro-black businesses, but we have seen so many black people who have disappointed their customers because they don't really deliver on their promises. You know, so when you show people success, they will really support you. When you show people that I have a hangout and it's beautiful and it's at a premium level at which you can get at a Life Grand, at a Spur, the food is good, they will come, they will support, because their first priority is to make sure that they take care of their own before they go anywhere else. You know, so I think the perception of thinking that people will only support you once you've made it, just show that your vision is way beyond maybe what meets the eye. If we try to corner you know, don't just say, it's a small corner so it can be dirty and I can sell people food from yesterday. That won't work for you. You know, from grassroots level all the way going up, make sure that you always present yourself at the best of your ability, because the more people take you seriously, the more support you'll get. So when I created the one-man show the next year, it was quite dope. You know, people came through. I had 3 times the amount of people that I had, you know, and obviously you'd still have people doubting to say, hey, okay, yeah, last year was cool. Caprivi is also too small, you know, so it wasn't difficult for him to fill it up. So let's go to a bigger venue and let's see. Maybe we'll go, you know. And from there, I made sure that I understood, one, what would make sure that people came back to my event, and 2, make sure that they have a great time. So 1, making sure that people were safe and felt safe when they were in that space was a big factor for me, because I understood that I'm doing a show in Tembisa. Once you say event outdoor Tembisa, imoto zethu, bayohlaba, you know. So I made sure that my security was like proper, you know, so that when people went there, they could feel safe when they were in that environment, you know. And then another thing that people took advantage of, the bathrooms at festivals. Like the toilets at festivals are such a turn-off for a lot of females most of the time, you know, because you go to a festival or a party and the toilets are filthy, you know, that messes up your whole experience, you know. So I went to all these festivals that I used to DJ at and looked at all these things that would tip people off. I would research, ask people, what is it that you want to experience when you get to a festival? And they'd tell me, you know, and after all my festivals, I would ask them, what is it that I can do to better my festival, you know? So that market research and that interaction with people really helped me, you know. And I felt like the one of the biggest things that helped me in building everything that I have now is the fact that I have a personal, like, I'm an accessible person, and I've always wanted to brand myself as an accessible brand. You know, like here at the shop, I don't carry myself as a boss, you know. Like, come on. You know, like I don't want to be known as a boss. I don't want to be known as a celebrity. I don't want to be known as this guy that's untouchable. You know, I feel like having a personal, but this is a personal thing for me. You know, because I understood that if people have a sentimental connection to you or your brand, they're much more prone to letting you slide when you fuck up a bit. You know, because they will call you and say, Ndana, okay, here you are messing up. I won't like put it up on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, but please look at 1, 2, 3, 4, which is something that I felt was something that helped us with getting to where we are at the standard that we are here at Hangout, because people would rather sit down with me or call me or send me a WhatsApp to say, I had a bad experience, 1, 2, 3, 4 happened. Please make sure that it doesn't happen anymore, you know. But if I was a person that took myself as yeah, okay, yeah, I've got this place. If you want to do anything, you must speak to my managers, don't speak to me. I would not have that because they don't have a personal relationship or a personal connection with my manager at the shop, you know. So that personal touch that I have to my brand is something that has helped me in everything that I do, you know, because I have a solid foundation of people that have my best interest at heart. A lot of them, a lot of people I don't even know, I don't even speak to. But when they tell you about, hey, Joe, I've been to 8 of your 11 one-man shows, you're like, what? You know, but those stories are only because people feel attached to what you always have to give to them, you know, and in that way you'll never lose your customer base unless you are very careless with them, you know. And this is one thing that a lot of people always say to me, no, you can't be debating with everyone on social media, you can't be. And I'm like, I understand the importance of that, you know. I understand the importance of having a Shimza page on Facebook and having a Shimza Raphala page on Facebook where I'm still in contact with 5,000, 10,000, 8,000 people that are from my community, you know, that still feel like they can still speak to me, you know. Even if I drive down the road and I'm on my phone or like busy speaking to people, they don't even feel like I police, you know, because they know when they speak to me online, I'm there to respond, you know, not as Shimza, you know, but as Ashley Raphala, you know. And I probably have one of the I don't even know if there's anyone else that we could compare with who I am that has a brand that is so, when you say Shimza, people automatically, the first thing that comes to their mind is Tembisa, you know. And when anyone says Tembisa, the first person that they think of now, it was DJ Smooth. Things are a bit shaky now, you know. Now it's Tembisa Shimza, you know, and I pride myself in that. And that's why I start everything back here at home, because I understand that if I finesse and I make sure that the foundation is set here in Tembisa, I can take that brand anywhere. The foundation of my one-man show is here in Tembisa. You know, I take Tembisa as my lab where I check, okay, this one doesn't work. Link 2, it's okay, this one doesn't work, let me change. But when I go out to the world, I'm coming with something that's tried and tested, a proof of product to say, I'm in Tembisa, I've got 20,000 people in the stadium, I've got this is the level of production that I have. My event is a no cooler event, you know. But they don't know that when I introduced the no cooler rule in Tembisa, I had to fight with my community to make them understand that this is a business move, you know. But what I liked about that is that I see myself as a person that is laying a foundation for other people that are coming after me, you know. Now we've got festivals and events in Tembisa where people don't cry foul when they say no cooler bag at the event, because they understand that for us to grow the festivals in Tembisa, people need to spend money so that we have enough money to give the consumer a better experience, you know. But I had to play that part as one of the pioneers of the festivals in Tembisa to say, guys, we think money for events is in the tickets. That's like change, you know. Run your own bars at your own festivals. When you run your own bars, you have a proof of product to say, I've got 10,000 people that are coming to my festival. They are spending X amount of money on the alcohol. This is the amount of alcohol that I can sell. When you go to a sponsor and you're showing them the amount of pallets that you are selling at your show, they won't give you sponsorship because for them it's an investment. You know, and I probably have I don't even know if there's anyone else that we could compare with who I am that has a brand that is so, when you say Shimza, people automatically, the first thing that comes to their mind is Tembisa, you know. And when anyone says Tembisa, the first person that they think of now, it was DJ Smooth, and you know, things are a bit shaky now. You know, now it's Tembisa Shimza, you know, and I pride myself in that. And that's why I start everything back here at home, because I understand that if I finesse and I make sure that the foundation is set here in Tembisa, I can take that brand anywhere. The foundation of my one-man show is here in Tembisa. You know, I take Tembisa as my lab where I check, okay, this one doesn't work. It's okay, this one doesn't work. Let me change. But when I go out to the world, I'm coming with something that's tried and tested, a proof of product to say, I'm in Tembisa, I've got 20,000 people in the stadium, I've got this is the level of production that I have. My event is a no-cooler event, you know. But they don't know that when I introduced the no-cooler rule in Tembisa, I had to fight with my community to make them understand that this is a business move, you know. But what I liked about that is that I see myself as a person that is laying a foundation for other people that are coming after me, you know. Now we've got festivals and events in Tembisa where people don't cry foul when they say no cooler bag at the event, because they understand that for us to grow the festivals in Tembisa, people need to spend money so that we have enough money to give the consumer a better experience, you know. But I had to play that part as one of the pioneers of the festivals in Tembisa to say, guys, we think money for events is in the tickets. That's like change, you know. Run your own bars at your own festivals. When you run your own bars, you have a proof of product to say, I've got 10,000 people that are coming to my festival. They're spending X amount of money on the alcohol. This is the amount of alcohol that I can sell. When you go to a sponsor and you're showing them the amount of pallets that you're selling at your show, they will give you sponsorship, because for them it's an investment that they can see is working. You know, you're exposing them to a market that they're struggling to get in contact with by giving them a festival where they can sell their product. You are literally forcing people to drink their product. So they need to pay for that, you know. So they understand when you get there, no, my event is a cooler event, please give me money. So a sponsor must give you money so that people can bring other competitive brands to the event and drink it just doesn't make sense, you know. So when people ask about sponsorship, I'm like, okay, bro, if you want value, if you want sponsors to invest into your event, show them value. Show them the fact that 10,000 people will have their brand in their hands on that night, you know, and that's how they will invest in your brand, you know. So as you grow into business, you know, I will speak personally, you know, and seeing some of the brands that are growing around me, like the likes of Bolikau with Drip, you know. The reason some of us are supporting Drip is because we know who the owner is. We know his story, you know, and that's what we are buying into. We are supporting our own that's from Tembisa, that's growing, that has a premium brand that can compete with white other companies that are doing the same thing, you know. So I feel like as black people, let's see how we can make sure that whatever that you are trying to sell to people, we make sure that it's at a standard at which you want to play at. Black people, let's see how we can make sure that whatever that you are trying to sell to people, we make sure that it's at a standard at which you want to play at. You can be the smallest guy and like struggle with distribution and all of that, but let's make sure that everything that we are supplying to the market is at a standard in which other people are in that specific area. I think I went everywhere. That's 20 minutes done, right?